Ayo guys, what's up? It's me, Fangbanger. In this video, I'm going to be bringing you another Black Ops 2 ghost stories. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That was my scary ghost story sound that I do. This video is not going to have a question and answer because it's already interesting enough as it is. I know Black Ops 2 might not be your cup of tea, but it is my cup of tea. And if you love me, you love my material. And to make it interesting, I always like to put in some ghost stories. I know last time I went into this whole spiel on all this stuff and I didn't get into too many ghost stories. So what I'll do is I have two ghost stories today, two of them that are not my own. They are people I know, and then I have one little occurrence that happened to me. I'll try to put that together, and if by the time that I put that all together that I still have time left in the video, then I'll start rambling. How about that? So here is how we're gonna start it. Wait a minute, hold on. By the way, in this video, before I start, I know I'm rambling. In this video, before I start, I didn't get my final kill feed or what it was at the end. I would go like 30 and 15, by the way, though. And I just go in, I get an AMP, I get a stealth chopper, just one of those things. It is a Hardpoint. This is Express, I believe. So at first I started out using assault rifle, but then I noticed that the team was a little bit better than my team. So I was like, oh, I got to pull out my SMG, otherwise we're going to lose. Definitely just trying my hardest in this one, and we ended up winning. So that's what's going to happen in this. But back to this ghost story. So the other morning, this is on top of what the stories are going to tell you. The other morning, I wake up. Not even in the morning. It's like 3 in the morning. Everyone hold your pillows. 3 in the morning, and this happened just 4 days ago. I wake up in the middle of the night, just randomly. Like, it's one of those things where you just randomly wake up. And I've had no occurrence in this apartment whatsoever. I've not felt any kind of where I'm scared. I take showers and nobody's here, but I woke up in the middle of the night and it's like 3 or 4 in the morning. No one's outside. I've already been out because the wind, knocked something or something like that up against my porch, my patio. And so I was like, what the hell? I thought someone was on my patio trying to rob me. So I get up, and I look out there and there's nothing out there. There's no one outside. It's Austin in the middle of the night. Everyone's asleep. And I decide to go back to bed, and I lay down in bed, and it's one of those moments where you just kind of creeped. I don't know, something about it. I was just creeped. And so I felt like one of those moments where you feel like someone's watching you, even though someone might not be. And so I close my eyes and I try to fall asleep, and then I start hearing this whistling noise. And it wasn't with wind, you'd hear it and be like, woo, and wind is long. Well, this was a whistling noise that was more like, I can't whistle very well, but it was like, and I heard it one time and I was like, oh my God, what the hell was that? And I was like, maybe it's someone outside. So I get up and I look at the window to see if my neighbor, who looks kind of down below where I can see him, is out there, and no one's out there. So I'm like, okay. So I lay back down in my bed and I hear it again. I know that's the weakest whistle ever, but that's what it sounded like. It did it 4 or 5 times, and I'm sitting here just in complete oh my God, chill status. And at one point it just stopped. It happened about 5 times and it just stopped, and I was like, I don't even know what's going on. I didn't see anything, but who the hell was whistling? What it was, I still am trying to figure that out. That happened recently. I can only tell that something weird is going to happen in this apartment at some point while I'm living in it. Moving on to story number 2, though. My cousin Matt, he actually just passed away, unfortunately, about a month ago. We thought he had a heart attack. He was only 40 years old, though, and it ended up being that he was allergic to paprika, and he ate something bad at a restaurant, something that had paprika in it, and he didn't know. And so he ended up passing away, which is very unfortunate. It was a big loss to our family. But when he was younger, he lived in this 2-story house. And he had a brother, and I believe he had a sister or something, but him and his brother had to share a room. And so he, I guess, was having these occurrences where he kept waking up in the middle of the night. I don't know if he had something going on where he sometimes if you have to wake up in the middle of the night, you have diabetes or something, which he does not have. But something was going on where he kept waking up in the middle of the night to get water. And so he'd always go down the stairs to get water and always come back up. And his brother's always asleep, slept through the whole night. Well, one night he woke up in the middle of the night, and he's walking down the stairs, and he's at the refrigerator, and he starts hearing creeping on the stairs. And so he's like, God, I wonder who that is. Who's creeping down the stairs, So he just sits there, he gets his water, and he sees that nobody comes down the stairs. And so he's like, okay, well, I guess they decided to go back up or whatnot. So he starts walking up the stairs. And as he's walking up the stairs, he sees his brother walking down the stairs, and he like looks at his brother, and he just like doesn't say anything. He's always just like going back up to go to bed. Obviously maybe his brother needed to get a glass of water, so he looks at him, you know, double takes him and everything, just walks down the stairs right past him, doesn't say a word to him, doesn't even look at him. So he's like, all right, whatever. And so he keeps walking up the stairs, and he goes to lay down in his bed, and his brother is laying in the bed right next to him. Creepy moment. I know everybody's getting little chills right now. Creepy moment. There's something that they like to call, that I've seen many times, I haven't seen them, but I've heard of, called the doppelganger. And what it is, it's kind of like a stop in time, like a second reflection of you. And it does certain things or whatever. And for some reason they say that if you see your doppelganger, which he saw his brother's doppelganger, you know, apparently, but if you see your doppelganger, then you're supposed to die instantly. That's like the whole story between the doppelganger. If you happen to come face to face with your own doppelganger, you will die. But it seems as though he saw his brothers, and I mean, he swears up and down it was his brother. You know, he freaked out after that happened, you know, ran to his parents, and it was just one of those moments. So that was a very scary situation for him, and God rest his soul. Hopefully, you know, him and his brother will meet up again in heaven or whatnot. And then moving on to the next story, because I have a third one. They're all these are kind of short, so I kind of put them together, but I've got others I can do in other episodes. After that one, you know, you've already essed your pants. No scream face for y'all today, guys. I have my boyfriend in high school we were out at a lake house. I wasn't there, actually. He was out at a lake house. Some of my friends were out there. We weren't dating yet. And they were out there having a good time. I think there was like 4 or 5 of them. And just so happens, he happens to sleep on the couch. I think 2 of them slept in like one of the other beds, and, you know, others slept in other rooms. But he was the only one in the living room on the couch. And so another middle of the night, it always happens in the nighttime. Don't ask me why, but I think that's like the most active time for ghost activity. But in the middle of the night, he wakes up to hearing what sounds like, because it's really quiet. If you stay at a lake house, it's very quiet. You can hear everything. And it sounds like someone's walking around in the front yard. So he's like, I guess some people are out there, you know. I guess somebody's out in the front yard. And so he just kind of lays there, and he waits to listen to maybe hear if like someone's out there talking or anything like that. And then he like begins to hear it again. So he kind of gets up, and he's going to get up to look. It sounds like it's coming around the house. And so he's going to get up to look out the window to see what's out there. And in the window, in the front door, there's like pane windows where you can see multiple, you know, they're like squares, like multiple squares. And he looks out the window, and he sees vividly. He can describe everything he looks like. He sees a man who looks completely pasty white in a Civil War suit, which would be the Confederate suits of that time. So more than likely, I think they were like gray and red, Civil War suit. And it was all broken up and like, you know, like old looking, and it looked like it'd been on this person forever. He had the old look of a Civil War soldier, and it had only the top of the body. There was no legs, and he saw it go through 3 of the panes, and then whenever it went to the other panes, it completely disappeared. And that was like one of the scariest things he's ever seen. That was something that completely sticks with him to this day, and we've heard the story, and that creeps me out just as much. But that's it for this episode of Black Ops 2 Ghost Stories. I hope you enjoyed those ghost stories, guys. And until next time, get Fang Bang Nerds.